Annabelle Creations is directed by David Sandberg, and this is the second film in the Annabelle franchise that's also a spin-off of the Conjuring films. Now, before we go anywhere else, I did a previous video of this on my channel, on our channel here. This is actually the second time I've seen it by myself, but this was part of a double feature that me and him saw together with It. Yeah. So we basically wanted to do two birds with one stone. So it's actually his first time seeing it, so this is going to be his thoughts on it.
Yeah. So we go into 19. I could not remember the year. It looked real like the 40s or 30s.
Well, I think it was the 50s actually.
Yeah, and then you get this little girl. It's directed by David Sandberg, but the cast I cannot remember some of the names.
Well, it had the girl Miranda Otto is the woman from Lord of the Rings, and you also had. Anthony LaPlaga. He's been some like big things in the 90s.
Gangsters, shit. Because I remember him playing.
But
the little girl you said was in Ouija, right?
Ouija, Origins of Evil.
Okay. See, I've never seen the Ouija, so I don't know any of them. But anyways, it takes us back into the 1930s.
Or somewhere around
there.
Yeah, it's either 30s through the 50s, one of the two.
Yeah, and then it starts out where we got this, the mother and father who live out in this kind of like country thing. They're really religious, go to church. It looks like kind of like Little House on the Prairie look too.
Yeah, I was gonna think of that,
where they go to little children in the corn, they go to school and all that crap and all that stuff. And then I don't know if this is spoiler free or not.
Yeah, it's spoiler free.
Okay, so I don't want to say. Well, you've seen it in the fucking trailer, so I can say it pretty much. It does. This movie did tell you a lot in the trailers. Well, anyways, we get to the point where this little girl was tragically killed by getting hit with a vehicle because her dad popped his tire. And then it takes us 12 years later from the events where they became, it looks like a girls' religious school.
It's like a orphanage kind of thing.
Yeah, orphanage, and it's
from
church.
Like a church.
Yeah, it's for church, and I guess the father decided to open it up. I don't know why. What was his reasons really why he wanted to do it? I guess for money.
I think it was probably because he wanted to do it out of for his daughter,
Yeah, because he was, he's religious, and I guess he carries on that kind of feel. So it was probably something to fill a hole, because you got these girls coming in. It's only girls only, and he lost his daughter. So maybe there's a part missing.
Yeah, I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's meant to show that he feels like bringing the girls here gives him more of like reminding him of the caring that he had for his daughter, or something like that.
So as these girls living on, you get to know these orphan girls. I think there was like 5 of them, and upon living in here, this one who's kind of crippled starts seeing some strange events going on inside this this house, and that's where you get introduced with the doll. And pretty much, it's kind of really hard to describe the plots to these because they're pretty much simple. In my opinion, all these paranormal films end up being kind of the simple plot.
And they kind of have pretty much the same type of formula.
And pretty much, I mean, what is there to say other than this is pretty much you learn Annabelle's creation, and, I don't want to spoil it, even though even the trailers kind of tell you who the little girl is. In a way, it does. I already knew it. It didn't even surprise me. I was like, I mean, by the looks of her, she looks like the fucking doll.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if I could call this spoiler free, because, I mean, come on, I think everybody was calling this movie, and that's one of my problems with this film. But, yeah, and then you get the strange events going on, and then it leads to, a girl going nuts and so on. It's Annabelle possessing. It's some kind of paranormal thing out there. Yeah.
Well, and to go in just a little backstory, I know that you haven't fully finished the first Annabelle, did you?
Yeah, I did. It took me a lot of fucking tries. I will say that I finished, I watched like a quarter, and then it took me 2 months to go and watch another half. So I finished this movie in so many fucking pieces and not completely together. So I seen the movie because I remember where I stopped off, but I just wouldn't go back to it for like a month. I'm gonna tell you right now, that first movie was fucking horrible.
I was disappointed with it.
Yeah.
I remember I still
so fucking bad.
My
man.
original review of that is still on my channel from 2014. It was when I was with Lawrence and we saw it together. And she even when I watched it with her, she said, "Yeah, that was." And
it pisses me off because we get Annabelle's introduction in Conjuring,
the first one.
And it's when the Warrens' little daughter finds her in a room, and the doll is actually pretty creepy in that.
Yeah,
what it can do, and you're like, oh my god, we're gonna get a spin-off, and it was kind of an anticipation movie for a lot of people, and I couldn't believe the route they went with. Annabelle don't even do shit hardly in that.
Yeah,
like, what's really the fucking point of this movie?
Yeah,
you get those little stupid scenes where like the doll ends up in another room and with somebody, and it's just like. It feels like the doll just jumps around more than anything in the movie.
Yeah, it was also very not... The first one I remember just being not very... It was drawn out, and it really took a lot of its time and didn't really do much.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. I tried to watch it fully with my ex-girlfriend at the time. Well, girlfriend at the time. It was something I had to keep coming back and finishing in pieces, man. It was so fucking terrible. So, along with that, I was like, if we ever do a top 10 worst, I might end up putting that one on my list of the year. I think it was 14.
14, yeah.
Yeah, 14. I might end up putting that one on my list in 14, but now with this one, I do think this one was a more improvement on the... Because I could feel like I could finish this movie. I could not finish the other movie at all. It was hard in pieces. This one, I was anxious to see what they were going to do with the backstory and all that. I did like the cast. The cast was really good. I did like some of the disturbing images with the scarecrow was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That looked like the thing off of you remember that movie The Strangers, where it showed like the mask, like that one mask. Like that's what it kind of looked like.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And then it was cool seeing the doll back and all that stuff. And then, but the thing, I have more cons with this film than pros. It's not a bad movie. It's a lot better than the first one. But with paranormal films, it takes a lot for those type films to get me invested, because I just feel like they use the same fucking formula in the end.
I think it has to do with a lot with the genre of the horror genre itself.
Yes.
It has become, it's been a cliche for decades that we've had that same typical feel. People go in the rooms alone. You have the same kind of build up where you're focusing on person's possessed. Yeah.
But then you get the typical crunching noise lately, and
you get a lot of the typical jump scares you'll always see in this. Now there are jump scares that you can use right. We're not saying that they can't be used at all. It's just that nowadays it's always about what gets the audience, and they use it cheaply because that's all they can do.
Yeah. So anyways, this movie was pretty fast. I was surprised how fast it went through. I was kind of snoozing off a little bit, even though it is an improvement from the first one. It's just, the story to me just felt simple, and I just don't know, what really, they did, like I said, it's improved, but I don't know any massive difference. They didn't make a big change, a complete big change, but it was an improvement. Yeah,
I could see that from your perspective, it felt still typical of any type of horror film. Yeah, any type of supernatural horror film.
I feel like if I've seen Sinister, Insidious, and those type films, I feel like I'm just watching a part 10, a part 11, because they all do the same thing. Yeah. But it is an improvement, better casting in this one than the first one.
Yeah, because the first one, I thought that the two leads, they did not fit well in that time period.
No, it didn't. And
their look just did not look like they were in that fucking time period.
And then I like the Easter egg at the end.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to tell you that one. But that was a cool thing. I'll give it credit on that. But in the end, this is one of those movies I'm just like, I'm not going to watch probably again. I love his Conjurings. The Conjurings always end up in my top 10 list. I enjoy them. The Annabelles, I just have a hard time getting them, liking them. I just don't know what it is. I guess it's like we just said before, it's the simple premise they go with.
Yeah, well, we are going to be able to expect to see The Nun come out next, which is next year, I think. And then I think the year after is The Conjuring 3.
Yeah.
So,
but other than that, it's an okay film. Not. It wasn't. It didn't. They promoted it like it was going to be something big, and I was really looking forward to this because the creation of Annabelle. But I just felt like they kept all that creation part simple.
yeah, I did get, well, in my other review, I explained how I did like the way they built some of the tension up a lot better with this one than the other film, and they actually timed a lot of the scares better in this one.
Yeah.
You still get your typical jump scares like we discussed before. It's just, this time they used it more effectively because, keep in mind, this was the same director of Lights Out.
Yeah.
And with that one, I know you weren't a big fan of, but I did enjoy the way he crafted with those, the way of building up the very good tension.
That one, last year I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I ain't really got much to say. Anything else is pretty much a spoiler. So with that, I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to go 5.5 out of 10.
Hey, I mean that's fair enough. I mean, I gave it a 9 and 10 in my review. I mean, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I could see from your perspective, it's just one that it's a lot better. It's a hit and miss with you. So I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
No, that'd be it.
Well, we do thank you for tuning in and watching his review of
Annabelle Creations.
And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel. And you can check out some other reviews of here as well. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.